Banana. Oh, what's up, demons and demonettes? Tis I, Atraxi Demon Queen. It's another week. It is a time for an AFK Arena, or AFK Journey Arena update. But before we get into it, as always, toss a like and subscribe down below. Alright, so I'm gonna bring to you a new defense this week. It's a slight alternative to the previous defense I was running. I just sort of had gotten bored of, running the previous one. It was fairly consistent. It did eat some losses, however, but I was still had like about 80, I'm going to say, to 90% win rate on the defense. So it's very, very strong. So if someone does manage to crack it, this is an alternative of the defense that you can run. As you can see, we're using a Dunlinger here with a Ludovic, a Kaelin, a Siren, and a Thalia. Now, I think this one's not as good as the other one, but it might do well for you, considering the other one gets cracked, depending on what your opponents have. As you can see, we have 3 successful defenses here, but Brownie did manage to beat it, so it could just be an RNG type thing here. Almost a very similar team that he's using here to ours, except he's got Igor, and he picks up the win there, and he wins quite a few there with this comp. Not as good a win rate with the other one, although here, we get the RNG, so it could just be an RNG thing. So it has a pretty decent win rate. So if you want to have something else that you want to run, this is definitely an option for you. Now, if you are looking for something to utilize a Chimera because you're high on her, and you want to run her, we can run something very similar, right? So we're gonna use my favorite substitute, will say, for you could run something like this, or we could do it like this, right? And Cryonaya would be the placeholder for our Chimera. Yeah, just this team is going to be fairly decently powerful. I don't know how strong it's gonna be. I did test it out on Pioneer. It did have some success. I personally like a Cryonaya better, but if you're looking for something early on to utilize with Chimera and PvP, this is certainly something you can go for. Now, I want to talk about attack as well, just because, hey, I showcased my favorite attack team. However, Brownie switched up his defense a little bit, and we did eat a loss with it because the team just doesn't work as well on this map. This is map 5. So I had to swap out Kaelin. That may have not been the best choice, but then the problem, because everybody's not grouped up enough for Kaelin to be effective on this map. So it's kind of like the anti-Kaelin map, we'll call it, right? Because 5's just weird with the U shape. So if we go in and we talk about 5, so we'll just go in and we'll look at it on defense. So we can just go to map 5. Now you can see, right, we can get 1 and 2, but then we're having to put someone up in the front here. So we could maybe, maybe you put your cryo here, and then the thought process was that we would do something with I guess like that with Freyasto. It didn't work because everybody's kind of out of place and not really where we want them to be. So as I say, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Now he is running something that's kind of geared towards countering my current defense, which is kind of a mistake. So what we're using is we're gonna use the Igor Thalia combo to beat the Igor Thalia combo. However, in our case, I'm going to be running it with a Cryonaya, Kaelin, over Dunlinger and Bonnie. Now, you can substitute in for Cryonaya here. well, that was Cryo, but yesterday, when I was testing it out, I tested out a couple different alternatives. Again, we won with Cryo. I tried out Taylene. Taylene worked very nicely. Again, she works well with the Igor combo, just kind of keeping it to pop up while Igor jumps around. We have the advantage here that our Igor is P3 to the P2 here. So basically, it just comes down to Athalia Igor versus Athalia Igor, and whoever did more damage ahead of time. But then we have Taylene coming back. So you can see the Taylene one worked pretty well. I substituted in Tassie, and that worked as well too. Yeah, and then I reran it with Taylene. So let's go ahead. We're gonna take a look at it in action. We'll take a look at the one at Taylene because this may be a little bit more accessible because people may have not built Cryonaya and have built Athalia just because she's so good. So in this case, we do get Kaylin to work because now we have Igor kind of off to the side, and you'll see the setup when we go in, right? So, don't have them in pause yet. So, you can see Kaylin's kind of protecting everybody at the beginning. He pops out, does his roar, so we can get rid of Dun. So then essentially it's going to come down to our squad versus Igor and Athalia, right? So we do manage to easily bump off Igor there just with the output of damage that we have. Again, our Taylene comes back, so you may see that as like a counter that you are going to run into, or a combo, the Athalia Igor combo. So it might be something that's fairly popular, or Igor may be a hero that's fairly popular to use against Athalia teams. Just keep that in mind, that, you know, he's probably somebody you're going to want to or need to build at this point. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. I just wanted to kind of show off the new team a little bit and talk about some stuff on attack. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!